Greetings, class, and welcome to Professor Macabro's Halloween Marathon. We are at day 13, a very special 13 for this year, for you see, it actually falls on a Friday the 13th. So, in honor of that momentous date, I will talk about the Friday the 13th series. Now, I did consider doing a whole review of each movie, but a lot of people might already do that. So, class, I will talk about Choppy, my experiences with Friday the 13th. Now, as far as horror franchises, Friday the 13th is my favorite. While I do enjoy the humor of Freddy Krueger and the suspense of Michael Myers, Friday the 13th is the one that I enjoy the most. Oh yes, Jason, who Zombie Huesitos is cosplaying as. I don't let her hold the machete because she gets a little crazy. But Jason is definitely an awesome dude. Now, when I was a student Macabro, I unfortunately did not see the movies as they came out. Like a lot of young people, my first experience with Friday the 13th was actually through the video game, the NES game. Yes, I remember not liking that game that much because it was very confusing. Now, as an adult, I get it a lot more, but as a kid, playing that video game was very frustrating because up was down, left was right, and navigating the map was a real pain in the butt. But when Jason popped up, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed those moments, even though Jason is pretty much like trying to beat Mike Tyson. The guy takes a good licking and keeps on ticking. As well he should, because in the movies, I later found out, that's basically what Jason does. Now, the first movie I do remember seeing was Part 4, which, of course, because of that, is my favorite movie, because that's the one I remember seeing first. Now, as I've grown up, I have seen all of the series, so I'll talk about those. Imagine my surprise when after seeing Part 4, that I went back and saw Part 1, and Jason was nowhere to be found. Yes, it started with the killings, but, I expected Jason, and it turns out it's actually his mom, Mrs. Voorhees, which of course now makes sense. Mrs. Voorhees became crazy because, due to the neglect of the camp counselors, her darling little Jason drowned, being bullied by kids. So, that drove her a bit nutty, and she went out killing youngsters because their lack of discipline with drugs and, intercourse outside of marriage caused her darling little boy to drown. So, in the first one, again, after seeing 4, it was a bit of a surprise to not see Jason and see Mrs. Voorhees. I would have enjoyed and would have understood the series a lot more at that point if I would have started with 1 and then seen the others. But I started with 4. So, after seeing 1, I saw 2, and there's where Mrs. Voorhees' bundle of joy popped up. But not with the iconic mask. No, but with a burlap sack. And it is explained that he saw his mother murdered. And he takes up the reins and goes into killing just like his mommy wanted. Now, it is only after episode 3 that you actually see Jason don the mask. A lot of people like Friday the 13th Part 3, and I can see why. It's a very enjoyable movie, and the cast of characters are likable. But we move to Part 4, which is my favorite one, Part 4, the final chapter. Now, this was touted as the final time we would see Jason, and it does appear to be the case, because Jason in this one is soundly butchered by Tommy Jarvis. And in Part 5, it would seem that they did live up to that, because Jason is not part. Tommy Jarvis went to a mental institution, and a killer dressed as Jason is killing people. And everyone assumes, well, that Tommy Jarvis went through a very horrifying experience. He keeps talking about Jason, and all of a sudden, there's a Jason killer. Maybe Tommy Jarvis is Jason. He's a bit cuckoo. But it's not the case. Then we move on to Part 6. Now, Part 6 is very enjoyable to me as well, because that's when good old Jason comes back in a very, very iconic first act. For you see, Tommy Jarvis still feels that Jason is just around the corner, ready to strike, even though he's pretty much dead, because he killed him. So, he goes into the graveyard, finds his tomb, and starts trying to make sure that he's dead. But, as the Frankenstein monster, a bolt of electricity brings back Jason, and now we have the zombie Jason, the unkillable, because he's already dead, Jason Voorhees. Now, zombie Jason is a bit more fantastic than regular Jason, but this leads for a lot of fun, because can't kill something that's already dead. And seeing zombie Jason putrefy as the series goes on is really something very, very cool. So, Tommy Jarvis tries to defeat this now zombie Jason. And since you can't kill him, ties a rock around his neck, throws him down the lake, and we see Jason floating in water. Part 7 is another one that I enjoy, because when I saw this, I was like, this is awesome! Carrie versus Jason. Because although not Carrie, it does have a girl with some sort of telekinetic and psychic abilities. Now, she goes into the camp with her mother and her therapist, trying to figure out how this thing works. The therapist wants to take advantage of, I'm going to call her Carrie, because that's basically what she is. Takes advantage of Carrie to do some research and improve his career. Now, when she's experiencing with her telekinetic powers, she inadvertently frees zombie Jason, and he goes about, doing what he does best. Choppy. And in the final showdown, we have Carrie versus Jason. Carrie using her telekinetic powers to just throw everything she can and the kitchen sink to Jason. Honestly, a lot of people I've heard don't like this because they feel it's too slapstick. But I enjoyed it because, as I've mentioned before, maybe I enjoy crossovers very much. So the idea, while not technically true, but the idea of Carrie versus Jason was very fun to me. Then we move on to Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. Now, when I saw this movie, because at this point, after 4, I could enjoy the Jason movies, this series, unfortunately, took a bit of a decline, I will admit. Part 8 has some very good moments. The more memorable one that I can think of is this guy that is a boxer. And as he's trying to escape to Jason, he's like, you know what? Screw this. If I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down fighting. And he goes around and punches Jason. And punches him. And left. And right. And left. Right. Jab. Uppercut. And until he's tired. Because honestly, you don't go toe-to-toe with an immortal zombie. So, the boxing guy gets all tired. He's like, give me a second. I just need to catch my breath. And Jason's like, nope. Grabs him. Boom! One uppercut. The guy's head flies off. Oh, that scene was so much fun to me. I laughed and laughed and laughed. I have a very peculiar sense of humor, but I laughed and laughed and laughed at that. It was just something so enjoyable to me. Everything else is not so much. And even the title is a bit deceitful, because at the start of the film, it's not Jason in Manhattan, it's Jason in a boat. It's only at the last act where they actually reach Manhattan. And it does have some very cool, memorable moments as Jason's walking through Times Square, and there's these punks listening to music, and Jason just kicks their boombox away, and they're like, "Hey, man, what do you think you're doing?" And Jason turns around, takes off his mask, and again, zombie Jason reveals his putrefied face. And they're like, "Hey, we were just kidding, yo!" And then they walk away. That was fun. That was very fun. But the ending, it's kind of weird, because the main characters are escaping through the sewer, and apparently this New York is very free with their radioactive waste disposal, and Jason gets dumped in radioactive waste, and then he reverts as a kid, and then he melts. That was weird. But you would think that that's the end of Jason. But no. We have Jason Goes to Hell. The beginning is pretty cool. You have Jason stalking someone, and then, boom! The FBI and a whole bunch of police officers corner him. He's like, "Wow, this is different. I'm not used to this." And then the guys just maul him with bullets, apparently killing zombie Jason. And as the doctor is doing an autopsy, ooh, this is kind of gross, bam! Something jumps out him, and the essence of Jason possesses him. So Jason is going through body, trying to find a living Voorhees relative to come back to life. Yes, it's interesting that they tried to do something different with the Jason character and the Friday the 13th series, but that was pretty weird. I'm not gonna lie, pretty weird. But it was pretty cool to see the actor from Friday the 13th, the series, pop up in Jason Goes to Hell. Because that's something you might not know. But if you're a horror fan, you probably do. There was a Friday the 13th, the TV series. But has nothing to do with Jason. It doesn't even take place on Friday the 13th. It doesn't even take place at the campground. But the concept was really, really cool. It's about this antique store that sells cursed items. And the two grandchildren of the owner who died have to claim these items back for the safety of the general public. I, personally, freaking enjoyed Friday the 13th, the series. They had some really cool moments. Some very good episodes. The one that sticks out most in my mind was about this scam artist that would heal people. He would promise them to heal them, and he would heal them, but it was through a cursed glove. And the cursed glove would go through his hand, and he had to pass along the disease to someone else, and that person would die instantly. So he could keep using the gloves to heal more people. Another one that I enjoyed very, very much was about this guy that found a gemstone, I think. It's been a while since I've seen this, but I'm pretty sure it was a gemstone that would grant him wishes, and he would go and do stuff to get his heart's desire, which was to meet this pop star. But he took it a bit too far, because then he wished it was her, and then he turned into the girl in a very, very cool transformation scene. If you have a chance to track down Friday the 13th, the series, I would suggest you do so. It has some really good moments of horror and some really solid episodes. So, after Jason Goes to Hell, at the end, actually, of Jason Goes to Hell, Jason is destroyed, and you see Freddy Krueger's hand grab the mask and pull him to hell. And that was like, oh my god, Freddy Krueger and Jason, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Of course, we had to wait many, many years for that to happen. But we did get Jason X. Jason 10. Or X. I don't know. But this one took it where most franchises go when they are out of ideas. And that's into space. For you see, Jason, the timeline is of Friday the 13th doesn't really make sense. Don't try to think about it. But Jason is frozen and is brought back years into the future. And people are like, oh, we are high-tech people. We do not know how to deal with this. And, of course, Jason's like, I'm going to bring you some old-school choppy. Jason gets his ass kicked by an android. But through the magic of future technology, he is brought back as Cyber Jason. And he's like, I will dominate you. Really, really cool. I enjoyed it very much. But after that, we did eventually get Freddy versus Jason, where you have Freddy losing his power because people no longer believe in him. So he uses Jason to start choppy, and people are like, oh, crap, it's probably that Freddy Krueger guy. And people once again fear Freddy Krueger, and he regains his power. But Jason, being the unkillable zombie thing that he is, starts to steal Freddy's thunder, and Freddy's like, I can't have that kind of stuff on my watch. Unfortunately, the Freddy vs. Jason does omit a bit of some of the rules that happen in the already established franchises, both Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. But once you have Freddy versus Jason actually fighting, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy that movie very much because once they do start fighting, you do get an all-out brawl between the glove and the machete, and it's a lot of fun. Then, unfortunately, like it happens with a lot of horror movies, we did get a remake. And this remake, it was not the worst remake I've ever seen. It does kind of tell the story of 1, 2, and 3, but condenses it into a single narrative and then invents its own thing. It's not zombie Jason, it's just regular, normal Jason. And he goes through the burlap sack and then finds the hockey mask. Well, I'm not a fan of remakes, as you all know. This movie at least was not terribly bad. Not as bad as the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. That one was garbage. This one's not good, but they don't take a piss on the franchise as badly. Maybe it's because I enjoy Friday the 13th that I let slide some of their more grievous faults. But, while not my favorite one, at least it's enjoyable. Yes, very much so. I remember when I was a wee Macabro, I actually went dressed up as Jason after watching Part 4. That was a lot of fun. Yes, the iconic look of Jason with his machete and his mask is fun. Fondly remembered by horror fans, Friday the 13th is a series that I do hope continues somehow. There has been talk of doing another Friday the 13th for a couple of years now, and I am hoping that if done right, it will continue and we'll have a new installment. While I don't own a next generation console, there is a Friday the 13th video game out there that I have heard is a lot of fun, where you take the role of Jason and you go around chopping people in the game, in Mortal Kombat kind of gory goodness. Yes, I would like to enjoy playing that video game. I would also enjoy if somehow they release extended, uncut versions of Friday the 13th. For you see, class, Friday the 13th, unfortunately, was victim to a lot of censorship. A lot of the best kill scenes were cut. If you can find a special edition Friday the 13th DVDs or Blu-rays, those kills are there as special features, but my black heart would like to see a restored version of those movies. Why doesn't one? I know there's a lot of red tape, because, some studios own the rights of some movies, and then other studios own the rights of another movie. So it's very difficult to get people together. But I hope someday it comes true. Yes, I would very much enjoy to see a restored, complete version of all the Friday the 13th movies. Maybe someday that will happen. But personally, I enjoy the Friday the 13th series so much. It is again one of my favorite franchises and has brought me very memorable moments in horror watching. The boxing guy that gets his head block chopped off, Gary versus Jason, Tommy Jarvis going ape shit on Jason, Jason getting something stuck on his head. So good. I like it. Oh, and Kristen Glover's dance is pretty cool also. Supposedly he dances to a different song that's in the movie, but again, I would like to actually see that someday. Well, class, this was a very special episode of Professor Macabro's Halloween Marathon, 13th for Friday the 13th. Tomorrow, class, we will look at something else, which probably won't be as epic as Friday the 13th, but I hope you enjoyed this video and hearing my lovely voice rant over something that I love so much. Thank you for watching, class, and until I see you tomorrow, good evening.